Gachagua's fate at the Senate, as he is expected to face the Senate on his impeachment and try to see whether he's going to survive this particular impeachment. Will he put up a spirited fight that will see the Senate sympathize with him, or convinced that his actions do not warrant an impeachment? And of course, as far as that is concerned, we'll continue having that conversation. But also just a reminder of what you should be warming up to as far as the weekend is concerned. And the 19th, the Africa Bound Reggae Fest 2024, of course, is happening on the 19th of October. There will be reggae fireworks at KICC, where Glen Washington and the State of Emergency Band will be giving you the best of Glen's tunes till dawn for the Mashuja Peace Concert. Now, tickets will be going for advance ticket will be going for 1,000 shillings, VIP for 5,000, and VVIP for 8,000 shillings. And to get your tickets, of course, you can visit tikiti.co.ke or dial *519 *55 hash. Right, wanasema tukutane KICC. Mimi nitakuweka. Of course, if Joan pays for me. Joan, I don't know. Joan is my director. Yes, so we are meeting at KICC. If you want we'll be there with you. So get to go to KICC, of course, where the Africa Bound Reggae Fest 2024 will be happening, with Glen Washington and State of Emergency Band giving you the best of Glen's tunes till dawn for the concert. The tickets, like I said, will be going for 1,000. That is for advance. The VIP will be going for 5,000, and the VVIP will be going for 8,000. To get your tickets, of course, it's tikiti.co.ke, or you can dial *519 *55 hash. KICC is the place to be this the 19th of October. All right. But also, there are pressing matters that we need to be focusing on right now, and that has to do with the impeachment of Deputy President Gachagua. Before we went for a break, I was talking to, getting his sentiments on what has happened in the corridors of justice. Let me talk to you about what was this expectation before we come to how this relationship got to this particular point.
Of course, it was rumored that they're likely to change in the middle of their discussion and all that. But remember, they are also human beings, and therefore, in my view, they would like it to go to the Senate, then it comes to them when they're independent. Okay. And the challenge would be...
You have faith when it goes to the Senate, then after the
whatever
Senate,
the outcome,
the courts now come back to start looking now at the process itself.
Yes, yes, okay. So that at least, if in court you are likely to know the decision, the outcome, you are likely to, depending on how you are tabling your issues or all that, you are likely to predict how it is going to be. Okay. A few hours to the determination, if it is against 4, he resigns.
All right.
Yeah.
I want us to shift our conversation. And
yes.
Before you shift the conversation.
Yeah.
You know, so many people are basing their hopes in the courts post the Senate verdict.
Yes.
First of all, Rigathi Gachagua has exhausted all his prayers. What will he take to court now? Anything he would go to court with, public participation, process, timelines, lies or not lies, he has exhausted them along the way as he comes. And incidentally, he was engaging the National Assembly, engaging the Senate, and engaging the courts at the same time. And in fact, at one point in time, he was engaging the people. The people he mistakenly thought he was in their hearts. No. He is in the eyes of the people because of the media hype. And let me tell you, the moment the Senate finishes with him, he will disappear into oblivion. I can tell you. He thinks they are in their hearts. No, he's just in their eyes. They are seeing every day he's one of their own. They will see so many one of their own holding the same positions. They'll forget about him. Okay. When a man marries a new wife, he forgets about the one who left him, that he cried so much.
Okay, that analogy.
Interesting enough, you know.
But it depends. Okay, we are not arguing about marriage here. Let's shift this conversation. I want us to talk about how this relationship got to this particular point. Because what mistakes did we do along the way? Or is this position just cast? Because to some extent, we've been talking about the cast of the deputies for a minute now, trying to look at what has befallen the deputies, what the kind of treatment they've been able to go through. Do they sit in office? What kind of, how are they treated by the head of state and, their bosses and all that? Is the position of the deputy president cast?
No, it's not cast. It's only that I would think, like personally, I don't think I would be somebody's deputy because I'm ambitious by nature, and I think being a deputy, you need to be a zombie. You need to be somebody who cannot question a lot. And if you question a lot...
Now, if you put that particular argument, then
yes.
We are going to scrutinize a lot of people that might actually get to replace Gachagua if at all the Senate is going to impeach him.
No, the ones that are going to replace him, if they are not like him, they must be lower than him, by far. By far. For them to be able to put up with President Ruto's way of doing things, and therefore I don't think there's a problem with that. It's only that there is a book that is written by one of the many writers, and it says never outshine your boss. If you outshine your boss, you are likely to go. And I think...
Do you believe he attempted to outshine his boss?
He may not have attempted with an intention to outshine, but he may have done things that are looking like he's outshining. Maybe the intention was not to outshine, but the outcome looked like it was to outshine. And therefore, now he is being crucified on that basis. And therefore, I think it's a lesson, if it happens, it's a lesson for each and every Kenyan. If you want to deputize somebody, evaluate yourself, get to know. Because there was a case of Dr. Karugo in Nyeri, who actually was just a deputy governor for 3 months, and never received a salary the rest of the time. And, I don't know how the case has gone. But I think also it's good to evaluate yourself. And also, if you are a boss, you need to not to be threatened by people who are better than you or smarter than you. I'm not saying that the deputy and the president, one of them is smarter than the other, but because they came as a package, so I think they should go as a package if they are going.
All right.
Yeah.
Owidi, a curse or a blessing? What this position, and even if somebody else comes, what should they expect? How should they conduct themselves?
The only problem is taking a deputy who is ambitious. If you are a president, avoid very ambitious people. Sometimes they even act inadvertently. They even act without knowing. You see, in the process of trying to build his relationship with the people of Mount Kenya, in trying to capture them, in trying to make himself the kingpin of that region, he went breaking so many laws, especially the Constitution. He went undermining the president in so many ways because there are certain things he wanted to tell them for himself and not for the presidency, which he is part of. He went to Mount Kenya as his own man. He should have gone there on behalf of the president or the presidency. So getting an ambitious man to deputize you, he will always be breathing on your neck. Or she will always be breathing on your neck. In that circumstance, you will definitely be nervous. In the process, he will see your demeanor change as his boss. And sometimes they don't react well to it. Sometimes they begin to see you want to stop them. In fact, there are also times they think you are in bed with their prospective opponents. Like Rigiji, I thought there was one point in time, he thought the president was favoring his possible opponents in the fight to be the kingpin of Mount Kenya. You've noticed that in the days of Moi, which I have the benefit of having been adult then, when the vice president then would come to a public function, he would not make statements of his own. If he has to do anything, he would talk about things he knows the president would largely agree with, very briefly, and bring in the president as Mutukufu Rais.
Okay, so what kind of demeanor should the deputy president be having then? Do you?
I can tell you.
Are you looking for
I can tell you. In fact, I will tell you with examples. But I will not tell you with current examples because it will bring a lot of heat. If you want a vice president that would be loyal, would not breathe on your neck, look for a Mwai Kibaki demeanor.
Or an idiot.
Sitaki kuongea juu hapo. If you got a Mwai Kibaki demeanor, you'll get...
Okay, oh, it's a Mwai Kibaki.
A Mwai Kibaki demeanor. You know that guy, he was up to his work, that's all. He was never fighting anyone, he was never fighting for anything, and people judged him for who he was. That is a good guy. But you see, the problem also, like the president had he got somebody here who was very vocal, very loud in the name of Rigathi Gachagua. Okay. And the type of battle he had then with the Uhuru Kenyatta Raila Odinga axis needed somebody who would throw heavy punches like Rigiji. But Rigiji forgot that after the battle, you take the big guns and keep them and come back and don't appear near your boss with such big guns again. But trying to shoot them.
Looking at history, we've been able to see this, play out in the corridors of politics. Because this is not the first time. Under the 2010 Constitution, of course, we've been able to experience Deputy President President William Ruto when he was deputy. Of course, being in somehow a marriage that was just heading to divorce. But
I need to explain to you what happened between President Uhuru Kenyatta and then his deputy. William Ruto. President Uhuru Kenyatta wanted a new constitutional dispensation which would create the position of a prime minister, an executive, and as was in the BBI. His intention was to remain in power beyond 2022 by becoming the prime minister of this country through a constitutional amendment by BBI. So, to achieve that, he had to betray Ruto. After betraying Ruto, he needed to bring in Raila Odinga to make him this ceremonial president. Why would Raila Odinga accept to be a ceremonial president? Because at that point in time, he was both broke financially and politically. He would have not waged the war he waged against Ruto if Uhuru did not give him that support. So he accepted anything Uhuru threw at him. So he was going to be president, but a ceremonial. Uhuru was going to be voted by those many new MPs he had included in the BBI to be the prime minister, an executive one. So he would remain the head of government beyond 2022. Fortunately or unfortunately, the BBI collapsed due to, let me say, the spirited fight by President William Ruto. The BBI collapsed, and the moment the BBI collapsed, President Uhuru Kenyatta stopped supporting Raila to be president. That you need to know. But he had stopped in his, he was being seen around because there was nothing really he could do at that point in time. But he had stopped supporting the president. So, and remember, in the Uhuru Kenyatta William Ruto debacle, it was Uhuru Kenyatta who threw the first shot at Ruto when he came out publicly to say that alikuwa anatangatanga. He was tangatangering in this second term, when in the first term he also used to do those things for and on behalf of the presidency, and Uhuru never complained, because that time he had not made up his mind that he wants to undermine Ruto, to replace him with Raila, so that he can come in as a prime minister who has executive powers. So in this, the first person to throw the missile was Rigiji. In that one, the first person to throw the missile was the president, Uhuru Kenyatta himself. So get these two things clearly.
But it still just narrows down to the office of, the office which is the deputy president's office. And that's where my question is coming.
The answer is ambition. If the person in that office is ambitious, they will collide with the boss. They will always collide with the boss. So even now, as President William Ruto considers his possible DP, his possible number 2, he must avoid at all costs the largely very ambitious people he's seeing around him. They will let him down. They are the people, you know, in politics, to capture a people, you must create for them a boogeyman. You must create for them an enemy, a punching bag that you will be punching on their behalf so that they follow you as their messiah.
Okay, some of the names have been proposed here. And I want us to try and make sense of them based on their, like, you know, what you've been able to put on the table as, you know, people who are too ambitious. And I'll go generally, based, you know, not just the likely names that could actually go. So we start with Kithure Kindiki. He's been, you know, fronted with the Mount Kenya East and also Mount Kenya West. MPs coming to say Kithure Kindiki seems like a good bet to be the replacement of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Ambitious idiot, quote unquote, or lack of ambition? I don't know.
I think, Professor, with all due respect, you know, I've been a student, and he's a brilliant guy. Indeed, very brilliant. But I don't think he can suit to be the Deputy President. After all, he has a job to do, and he has not done it 100%. So I would think he remains where he is for one simple reason. We have very many Kenyans. We are over 50 million Kenyans. And women continue to give birth in this country. It's an insult to get people who are already having positions to come and replace the outgoing Deputy President as purported, you know? So from where I sit, can we have other faces or more faces? You know? So I do not want to endorse him or say much, but the president is the one, the president, by the way, knows who we want.
Okay.
So,
but we are talking about whether he should choose somebody who is the kind of person that should come.
Of course,
and
Kindiki,
the two of you have been able to put that on the table and say an ambitious person will not make a good president. Somebody that has presidential ambitions is not a good fit. And you know, we are looking at the names of people that could be likely, you know, considerations in this particular race. Then Kithure Kindiki, already, Kithure Kindiki, a good fit, or his ambitions could betray?
I want you to also understand the context in which we use ambitious and has a presidential ambition.
Okay.
We could all be having presidential ambitions, but an ambitious person is that aggressive, go step on everything to get where you want to go.
Okay.
Kithure Kindiki would be a perfect DP for President William Ruto, now or in the past, except for just one thing.
Right.
If the battle requires heavy artillery, you know what I mean by heavy artillery in political campaigns, he may not match Gachagua. Gachagua had the heavy artillery that was required at that point in time. Now going forward, I do not know what data the president has about the numbers he can sustain and his political weight in the Mount Kenya region. That the president must have it somewhere. Otherwise, he would make the best DP for the... I'm sure the president would be at peace with him.
Okay.
But again, we shouldn't worry very much about Rigiji. We shouldn't worry.
Why are you saying that?
Because I've had people thinking, oh, you know, it has not ended there. It will just begin after he's been impeached. It will be noisy. No. This guy is mistakenly thinking that he's in the hearts of Mount Kenya people. He's in their hearts for now. And what is happening, because they are seeing him, it's in just their eyes. They are seeing him, oh, this is our man. The moment he will not be DP and he will have been sent home, he will stop being in their eyes. The media hype, which keeps him on their screens every day, will go. And they will start seeing and accepting the new bride in the house. Okay.
Somebody else has been put on this particular table, and that is Anwar Guru. It will be historic to have a female deputy because during the campaigns, of course, the Azimio faction was actually considered as one that would make a little bit of history. Not just Azimio, because we also had Mwaure, who had a running mate who was a female, and also Wajakoya. So we really have to just make sure that we drop those names there so that it doesn't look like it was a two-horse. She was ticketed or something like that. It wasn't a race for two people, right? Anne Waiguru, a good consideration, or what exactly will she bring to the table as a deputy president, if at all she gets to make the cut?
I admire her. She is one of my many mentors. And anytime I would choose a woman. So for me, there, I don't have much to say.
Why would you choose a woman based on...
because women, we are over 50% in Kenya. And we have not been given a chance to at least be at the top. Leadership in Kenya is bottom heavy for women. But at the top, we don't have many women who are there. So if she's there, I think it will be something for the women of Kenya. Now, the other question
so if you're given Kithure Kindiki and Anne Waiguru, then because you said you're choosing a woman, you'll go for Anne Waiguru. Do you think she'll make a good deputy president?
I'm not saying good or bad, but I would choose a woman anytime.
Okay, Julia. All right, on that particular note, we want to take a break. When we come back, we continue with some of the names that have been proposed here as we wind up on the conversation here before we cross over to the Senate to try and see what is happening there as far as this impeachment is concerned, the impeachment of the second in command in the country. So before we go, I just want to bring you up to speed with what is happening this particular weekend and what you should be warming up to and, wearing your Saturday night best. Is the Africa Bound Reggae Fest, which is 2024, and it is happening on the 19th of October, and there will be reggae fireworks at the KICC, where Glen Washington and the State of Emergency Band will be giving you the best of Glen's tunes till dawn for the Mashujaa Peace concert. Now tickets will be going for this amount of money. Our advance ticket will be going for 1,000 shillings, VIP for 5,000, VVIP for 8,000. And to get your tickets, you will visit tikiti.co.ke or you will dial *519 *55 hash. And yes, so wanasema tukutane KICC na sisi tutakuweko. Of course. Niliwaambia Joanne Kasavuli said she's going to get me the VVIP ticket. Yes. the VVIP tickets. So yeah. So we'll see you there. We take a break. We'll be back in a few to continue this conversation.